you sick of looking at Netflix and you don't know what to watch?
So many movies out there, you don't know which ones are good, which ones were bad.
You curious about what's out there?
I'm Joey Powers.
I'm Don Trettler.
This is The Best Pictures.
The ones you don't want to miss.
Hit it. Say hello to my little friend.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Winners go home and prom queen.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I don't deserve this. Deserve's got nothing to do with it. No sequel for you.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Best Pictures. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
Hey, and I'm Don Trettler. Welcome to the show. It's been a couple weeks.
In our defense, 2 weeks ago, Alex was here, and we were in the parking lot because he parked out back, and we didn't realize he was here. And so I talked to him that night, and he explained it to me. And then last week I had to work. But we are back, and we're going to be hopefully doing this as a regular Tuesday show again. So we got a couple things we want to talk about. First, I just wanted to mention the weekend box office. Civil War opened this weekend. It debuted number one, $25.7 million.
Wow.
I thought that was kind of high because I don't really think I know anyone really that's in it. That's like...
There was somebody.
I think there's one or two people that I recognize, but not like no one that's like a household name.
Right.
So 25.7 I thought was great. Godzilla vs. Kong still doing very well. It's up to almost $160 million domestically. It was second at 15.5. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, 5.8, Kung Fu Panda, 5.5, and Doom Part 2, 4.3. That's up to $272 million, which is already 3 times what it did domestically from the first one.
Wow.
So it's, I don't know. You saw it, right? Did you like it better than the first one, or?
No, I wouldn't say I liked it better than the first one. I mean, I'd say it holds up to the second one. A lot of times your sequels don't necessarily hold up. This one definitely does.
Because the first one made like $93 million domestically, and this one's at $272. You know, so I don't know.
Maybe word of mouth was really good on it, and people got it on video.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't wait. They realized it was because it was a really good movie.
And it still hasn't played me out, correct?
No. I think it now that Fiddler on the Roof is over, I think it'll probably it might play next weekend. I haven't really checked it out. So yeah. So what about Monkey Man? Was Monkey Man on the list?
No, Monkey Man. I was going to ask you about that if you went and saw it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you haven't?
I should have, but
Monkey Man is not performing. I thought it'd perform because that seems like it's been promoted pretty decently. It's not doing very well, unfortunately. I think it gets rated pretty decent, but Monkey Man made a little over $4 million this weekend. It's only made 17.7. But I feel like it was over 7 the last time I checked on IMDb.
7.3.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's been 3 weeks now. It's been released for, let's see how many days. Okay, 2 weeks. But still, I mean, I thought 17.7. I thought it'd make more than that because it really was. And it's playing in a lot of theaters.
And it was promoted. I thought
I thought it's promoted very well. It's playing in over 3,000 theaters. It's just, I don't know, 7.3 is good. I guess maybe people are just... They're going after the blockbusters. I mean, you got Godzilla, you got Ghostbusters, Kung Fu Panda, Dune. You know, there's even a new Omen out.
Right.
So, I mean, that's not really doing anything.
I read a review of that. I thought that was supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's only...
It's a prequel, I think. I think it's...
Yeah, it's called The First Omen, so yeah, that seems...
Did you see The Omen? Do you know?
I have seen The Omen, yep.
So yeah, like the couple in The Omen, they adopt a child.
Damien, right?
Damien,
yeah.
Well, this is how that child came to be.
Oh, that actually sounds kind of interesting. That's something I probably want to take a look at.
And it's supposed to, I don't know, I read a review. It got me interested, so I put it on my list of movies to see.
I don't know why it happened, but I just thought of it last night. I was like, for some reason, like the last 2 or 3 weeks, everything I've been watching a lot of movies lately because I've gotten sick of watching the same TV shows over and over. I've watched so many Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise movies in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, what is going on? I've watched both Top Guns, A Few Good Men, The Firm, And then Tom Hanks, it's just been crazy. I watched Big, The Da Vinci Code. Jerry Maguire was another Tom Cruise one I watched. Yeah, Big, The Da Vinci Code. I just watched. I should have written them down because I was looking at them all the other day. And A Man Called Otto I watched again. I've watched like 6 Tom Hanks and like 5 Tom Cruise movies in like the last 2 weeks.
Wow. Had you seen them before or anything?
I own them all.
Yeah?
I don't know why. I just get sick of watching Hulu. And so I was like, I'm just going to go through. I have all these movies. I might as well watch them. And they both are in so many good movies. You know?
That's true.
They get offered. It's crazy because Tom Hanks has been in he's acted in 98 different things.
Wow.
Whether as a TV show, commercial, whatever. He has 98 things. Tom Cruise, 48. That surprised me.
Wow.
I would have thought Tom Cruise would have been in a lot more than that.
48.
That's it. For him being an actor in something.
Wow, that's only like one movie a year.
Yeah. Isn't it? I would have thought.
It's probably a little bit more than one a year.
I would have thought along the lines of Tom Hanks, right around 98. You know, maybe a couple a year.
Right.
At least, you know, because he's such a big star. But 48, I couldn't believe that. That just seems so low.
It is.
You know? But, I mean, you look at the movies he's been in. I mean, they're, like, top-notch. Oh, Rain Man. I watched Rain Man, too. You know, I mean, Rain Man gets, I think, high 7s. A Few Good Men gets 7.7. Another Tom Hanks one I watched was A League of Their Own. That was really good. But, I mean, they're both, like... A lot of them are like really like Big even gets really highly rated on IMDb.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know? And he was nominated for Best Actor for that, which you wouldn't normally think that role necessarily, but that just shows the wide range that Tom Hanks has as an actor. Because until Philadelphia, everything was pretty much a comedy that he did. You know, I mean, you did what's one of him and Sally Field? Punchline?
Oh yeah, right.
You know, there's that. There's like Big. Volunteers, Splash, you know, they're all either like fantasy or comedy, and then out of nowhere, Philadelphia, and then the next year he does Forrest Gump. I watched Forrest Gump too. The next year he did Forrest Gump. He won back-to-back Best Actors for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, and it was almost like Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting. You only ever saw him as like Mrs. Doubtfire or Popeye. And all of a sudden, he's a shrink, therapist, whatever, in Good Will Hunting. You're like, man, this guy really can act.
I guess I didn't realize that. I didn't realize Philadelphia was kind of his first real straight...
actual dramatic turn.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like he kind of did both because he did Forrest Gump, and a few years after Forrest Gump was Saving Private Ryan. You know, but he kind of does both. But no, it's just interesting to see someone that you think of as pretty much like a comedian, and then you see him as a dramatic actor, and you're like, why didn't they do this to begin with? You're just so balanced, I guess, that you're just so well rounded. You can play anything.
I think Bill Murray did that at one point years ago. He did
Lost in Translation,
and even before that, there was now I can't think of the name of the.
Sorry,
it was a famous book.
I mean, I have it on IMDb. I can look it up.
Yeah, I'm sure it was about. I'm trying to think because I was working at the movie theater, so it was probably about 1982, 83.
Really? I'm kind of curious because this is definitely something I'm pretty sure I have not seen.
The Razor's Edge.
I don't think I've ever.
It's a movie called, and I think they had made that into a movie before, but I'm imagining that he wanted to do this, and it was a total dramatic performance, and he did really well. I mean, at that time, he was doing, what was it, Meatballs and
Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Stripes was probably probably a little after, but in Ghostbusters,
right? Which
isn't really. I don't even really consider Ghostbusters fantasy. I mean, I don't know really.
But now it's not that unusual for Bill Murray will do a few straight roles, I mean, he plays it pretty straight in the Wes Anderson movies. He's probably been in.
He's been in several of them. Yeah, definitely. I was going to mention that. I couldn't remember if it was Wes Anderson or Paul Thomas. I always get them confused. But it gets a 6.4. So that's pretty decent. It was 1984.
It's watchable.
Yeah, 6.4 is watchable. We've determined that.
Yeah.
So the main topic today is going to be co-stars who did not get along with each other.
Because we've talked about this on the show before. We've talked about especially Mad Max. Mad Max was one that was pretty famous. And we talked about it because we both like Tom Hardy.
Yes.
and supposedly he didn't get along with Charlize Theron.
Yes, well, I looked it up, and he showed up like 3 hours late on the set one day. Everybody was waiting for him. And I don't know if he was just being a prima donna, or they didn't say why he showed up late. But Charlize Theron got right after him, being like, this is not just your movie, this is our movie. Everybody else is here but you. And apparently Tom Hardy got right in her face and scared her to the point that she had to have security around her for the rest of the time that they were on set together.
Wow.
So,
Huh.
I don't know if she was just being over dramatic, or, like I said, the article that I read didn't say why he was late.
Yeah.
So-
And we were saying that neither one of them are in this new like sequel or prequel
Right,
or
yeah.
whatever it is that
Yeah.
they're doing.
Because I had heard that Tom Hardy was, and she wasn't, because she didn't want to. But yeah, I checked it out, and neither one of them are in it. So
That's weird.
yeah, because it did so well. I think it got nominated for Best Picture, didn't it?
Yeah, when it came out.
Yeah.
People loved it.
Yeah, it was very popular.
I wasn't as high on it as other people were, but
I have it at home, and I still haven't watched it.
oh wow.
I got it at the library, and
I should watch it. It's on Blu-ray. I should have watched it for this week. But this week, as we're talking about co-stars that didn't get along, I watched Whatever Happened to Baby Jane from 1962, starring Betty Davis and, what's her name? I should have brought it with me, Joan Crawford.
Okay, yep. I was going to say, I know someone famous.
And it was kind of cool because maybe I never really had seen it before, or I saw it like years and years ago. But it's about Betty Davis was like a child star, and her sister kind of grew up in her shadow, but then she grew up to be a famous actress and to be more famous than the child actor. So there was kind of like this rivalry between the two sisters. And at one point, I guess the younger sister, who had been a child star, started getting had a drinking problem, and then she ran over the other sister with a car. So then the other one had to live in a wheelchair. So she had to take care of her sister in a wheelchair. Anyway, it was a pretty interesting movie. And I think Betty Davis got nominated, but Joan Crawford didn't.
Oh, so that was
Right. And they were both, at the time when they were both like,
pretty big.
when they were both really big, they
Yeah.
were rivals.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
That's,
supposedly they didn't get along.
that surprises me. I don't know. Why would you want to be in a movie with someone that's kind of like your rival? I don't know. That's
And they played sisters.
yeah.
So
No, that's interesting.
I wanted to see it. I wanted to see how they interacted together, and I thought, wow, this you can kind of pick up on it a little bit.
Yeah, No, that's kind of cool. The one thing I did want to mention about Tom Hardy is I didn't look into it, but remember there was a rumor that him and Shia LaBeouf got into it.
Oh yeah.
And like Shia LaBeouf like dropped him on the set of Lawless, which I still kind of amazes me. But
Well, that tells you two things, because you've already heard we have another Tom Hardy kind of rumor.
So is
and
he-
then
is
Shia
he-
LaBeouf too has he's got a
Exactly.
reputation as well.
Why would you put those two in the same movie together? I mean, I think they're both good actors.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's one that was very interesting, and there's actually a side story to this as well that I did not know about. I heard about this a long time ago. Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, they were in Interview with the Vampire together, and apparently Tom Cruise was huge at the time. I mean, Tom Cruise has been huge forever, and this was Brad Pitt like up and coming,
Right.
Like starting to become a household name, and Tom Cruise had been a household name for years, and he took him out to lunch or brunch or something when they were on this, filming on location. I think it was in London, I want to say. And apparently Tom Cruise was so rude to everyone at the restaurant that Brad Pitt said he would never, ever work with Tom Cruise in anything ever again.
And never has.
The side story to this is they were originally supposed to star in Ford versus Ferrari as the two leads.
Right.
And then they couldn't come to agreement on it because they didn't want to be around each other. Could you imagine who it ended up being? It was
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale and was it Mark Wahlberg? No, Matt Damon.
Oh, it is.
Right,
Yeah,
Matt
you're right.
Damon and
I
Christian
was thinking
Bale.
it was Brad Pitt. When you said that, I thought, well, maybe they just switched out Tom Cruise for.
How do you? I haven't
Christian
seen
Bale.
it, but what would you think? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
How do you think it would have gone with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise?
I can't imagine.
I don't know which one would play which, but it just.
I don't know. I can't imagine it, to be honest with you, because, well, say what you will. I find, Matt Damon a pretty capable actor.
Yeah, definitely.
So He's totally watchable. Christian Bale.
Christian Bale's great in everything.
I love him. I
Yeah,
think he's
he's
one of my
great in
favorite
everything.
actors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be hard for me to imagine those.
But I mean, outside of the end of 7, I would say Brad Pitt is great in everything he's been in. Same with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't think either one
true.
of them have really had bad roles. I mean, I thought Tom Cruise was kind of stretching being in Rock of Ages. That must have been strictly a paycheck movie.
Did you see it?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh.
It was.
So you don't recommend that I
No,
see it?
I don't even know why I watched it. I think I was just out of options at that point.
Right.
And I didn't want to get up to grab a DVD, so it was on one of the streaming services. But no, it's terrible. And he looks old in that.
Does he?
Yeah, and like I mean,
Was he supposed to be?
They made him to look. He's like a washed-up freaking rock star,
Right.
You know, because you see him in Maverick, and he still looks pretty good for his age, you know. But yeah, they made him to look old, and it was cheesy. It was a really bad movie. Not a lot of good acting.
Oh, I can't remember the name.
I think-
There's one. Sean Penn is a washed-up rock star, and he's got like his hair is all.
This Must Be the Place.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I've seen like the movie poster.
Yeah.
He looks terrible. He looks almost like a drag queen.
But it's good. I think he was supposed to look like Robert Smith from The Cure, with the big hair and the makeup and everything.
Yeah, I saw the
think
makeup and the hair, yeah.
I think he took that from The Cure.
But he's kind of like Christian Bale, too. He's great in everything.
Right.
I mean, Sean Penn's my favorite actor, but I haven't seen anything that he was not great in.
That's true. That's true.
So who else do you have on your list? Because I got a couple
I
other...
forgot to cue it up, but I was talking about Nick Nolte and Julia Roberts. They were in a movie called
Nothing But Trouble, right? Is that what it's called? Or I Love Trouble? Something?
Yeah, I Love Trouble.
I Love Trouble, yeah.
And I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. I mean, there are very specific quotes from this. You know, Julia Roberts said he's disgusting, and Nick Nolte said, yeah, she's just a bitch or something like that. So I mean, I don't know. It was
You've seen it though, right?
no. I
no.
went and watched the outtakes of it. It's actually it comes in below the Mendoza line, so I'm not like. I don't know if I want to waste 2 hours of my time.
That
going
kind of
to-
surprised me because they're both really good actors.
Yeah, Nick Nolte at the time that was made, I think he was like at his peak. He was really popular. I mean, now you don't hear too much about Nick Nolte, but at the time, I think he was voted People Magazine Sexiest Man Alive or something like that. So I don't know.
He did like the 48 Hours movies. I think Blue Chips was probably right around the same time. That was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway were in that with him. I think he's nominated for Best Actor for Prince of Tides.
And they're romantic in the movie.
No, I was going to ask you if
So they have to kiss each other and
Yeah.
stuff, which I had a film clip, but I forgot to. I forgot that I had sent it in. Anyway, so we can look at that some other time.
You know, the last thing I think I saw him in, like that was new for him, was Warrior,
Right.
which he was great in. He got nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for it. I've always thought he was a great actor and everything.
He's about 80 years old now.
That doesn't surprise me. He looked really old in Warrior, and I don't think they necessarily made him look old. He just looked old.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I know he's done some rough stuff in his life, you know, so... But, yeah,
You know
definitely...
what's interesting about him is he didn't get big until he was about
What, 50 almost, maybe?
30.
Oh, was it that?
Yeah, he did a TV show. He did a TV miniseries called Rich Man, Poor Man. And I can't think of the other guy's name in it, but the other guy didn't turn out to be as big. Nick Nolte kind of like, it launched him, and then he got pretty big. He did, I think he did North Dallas 40 after that.
I've actually seen that, yeah. That was... But, I mean, like, I think he just... Even when he was younger, he still kind of looked older. Because
Right.
in, like, 48 Hours, I would have guessed he was probably 50 then, almost. But obviously he wasn't, because I think that was, what, 1982?
Right, but I mean, he probably was, he was older.
Probably
he started older.
mid-30s, yeah. But North Dallas 40 was actually good. I haven't seen that in a while. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. That was a really good movie.
And Julia Roberts is a really good actress, too.
Yeah,
So, I
absolutely.
mean, they're both talented people. They just didn't get along. And that's what happens on a lot of these lists. You know, a lot of these people that we picked out, talented people, for whatever reason, they just clashed. They just didn't get along.
You know, one that I saw that really, really surprised me was David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson.
Yeah.
Do you remember the backstory on that?
No,
Because
but I thought that was interesting.
She couldn't stand him, yet they did 2 movies together, and I think that show was on the air for like 8 or 9 years, and then they came back. It's like, if you can't stand someone that much, how can you work with them like every single day? Like, it's not like you just did one movie. It was like a one and done thing. You were on the set for like 2 months or whatever, and then that was it. You're like working with this person every day, year after year. It's like, how do you do that with someone you can't stand?
I guess you got to be professionals.
I guess the money was right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very popular show. I watched the first movie. I thought it was stupid. And the second movie, like, completely tanked. But it was nominated for a bunch of awards and stuff, like Golden Globes, Screen Actors Guilds for the TV show. I
was kind of obsessed with the show for a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I never watched the show. I watched the movie, and I didn't really care for the first one, so I didn't give it a I always thought she was kind of attractive, though. I thought she was good looking.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he went on to do, was it Californication? So that was on for a while on HBO. But I don't really think she has done much other than The X-Files, as far as I know.
She did a few movies that I saw.
Anything big, though? Like...
Well, you know what? Last thing I saw her on, she was in the miniseries The Crown, and she played Margaret Thatcher.
Really?
I'm trying to think
I've heard of the show, but I don't... It's popular, isn't it? That's a pretty popular show.
Yeah, I think it was... The Queen was played by 3 or 4 different women. So I think it was Olivia Coleman. So it was Olivia Coleman and Gillian Anderson. And it was good. I mean, especially their episodes together. Very powerful. And Gillian Anderson can act. I mean, she was really good.
Well, Olivia Coleman, she has at least one Oscar.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's been nominated several times.
I think so.
Well, I'm going to look up Gillian Anderson real quick. Is it Gillian or Gillian? I always called her Gillian. I don't know. Oh. I have no idea. It doesn't matter. We don't pronounce names right on the show anyway.
We don't know.
What difference does it make?
Here's another interesting rivalry one. Richard Gere and Sly Stallone. They were cast in a movie. I don't know if you ever saw this. A long time ago, called The Lords of Flatbush. I think it was from the 70s. And it was one of these buddy movies. It was about 4 guys. They were buddies. They called themselves the Lords of Flatbush. And they actually were working together, and they just clashed right off the bat. And they both had to be pretty young actors. I mean, this is before Rocky. This is like pre.
Yeah, Rocky was 1976, so that's a long time ago. We're talking 50 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And even Richard Gere, I mean, he wasn't big at the time. This would have been the movie that would have launched both of them, but they didn't get along. And it was kind of like him or kind of a him or me type of thing. And they decided they were going to keep Stallone. They got rid of Richard Gere, and Richard Gere was replaced by Perry King. So, I don't know. To this day, they've never worked together.
So, question: Who has the bigger career?
Well, I don't know. Stallone was pretty huge. I mean, Stallone was, just huge. Where Gere was, successful, popular.
He had big movies. Definitely had big. I mean, Pretty Woman was huge.
Yeah.
I feel like American Gigolo was really his breakout, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I would say that's his breakout.
But yeah, I guess you're right. Stallone, mostly because of the Rocky and the Rambo series. Yeah, he definitely has. But I mean, as far as acting wise, I think they're both actually pretty good actors. I mean,
they just clashed. They just were 2 guys that clashed on the set.
Who do you think would win in a fight? Because Stallone's not a big guy.
No.
I mean, they make him like big and stuff like that. If you watch Rocky 3, Hulk Hogan towers over Sylvester Stallone in that movie.
I bet neither one of them is very big.
No, I don't think so. I think it would be kind of funny to watch them fight, though, especially now.
What was that movie? Didn't I think you lent it to me?
No, Stallone and De Niro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched that not that long ago. Grudge Match.
Oh, that was a good movie. Yeah.
That was funny. Alan Arkin, Kevin Hart. No, that was fun. But yeah, that's almost what they would be like in real life. It'd be hilarious. But that was a fun movie. But I guess we're pretty much out of time this week.
Oh, we're going to have to do a sequel.
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely flies by because I do want to talk about Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep.
Right.
So this has been our episode of The Best Pictures this week. I'm your host, Joey Powers.
Hey, and I'm Don Tretler, and these are the ones you don't want to miss.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Here's Johnny.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.